If you're a man over 60, I want you to sit up straight, because I'm about to burn down one of the biggest lies you've been told your entire life. The lie that says you need a woman to be complete. The lie that says without a woman beside you, your value shrinks, your worth disappears, and your masculinity is somehow unfinished. That lie is poison, and most men your age have swallowed it for decades. And it's the reason why so many of you look in the mirror and see someone who's hungry, empty, desperate, or worse, someone who feels invisible. But here's what I'm here to tell you. You don't need a woman to be complete. You need to complete yourself. And when you understand that, your entire life changes, your energy changes, your confidence changes, and ironically, that's when women start chasing you instead of the other way around. Let's rip this apart, piece by piece. Men are taught from the very beginning that a woman is their prize, their finish line, their reason for existing. Movies sell it, songs worship it, society reinforces it. Even your friends will laugh and say, "So when are you going to settle down?" But here's the brutal truth nobody says out loud. If you buy into this idea, you will live your entire life operating out of need. And nothing repels women faster than need. Because need reeks. Women can smell it. It's like a stench you can't cover up. When you walk into a room as a man who needs a woman to feel whole, every woman there instantly knows you're running on empty. That desperation radiates, and it pushes them away. Now compare that to the man who walks into the same room, but is already whole, already alive, already complete. He doesn't need anyone to validate him. He doesn't need anyone to fix him. He's there because he chose to be there, not because he's hoping someone will complete him. That energy, it's rare, it's magnetic. It's the paradox of attraction. The less you need, the more you attract. Let me give you an example. Robert, 64, divorced after 30 years. He came to me broken. He said, "Caroline, I feel like I'm worthless without a woman. I feel invisible." His energy was desperate. He'd swipe on dating apps all night. He'd text women paragraphs. He'd bend over backwards just for a reply. And nothing worked. Because women smelled the need. They ran. I told him something that made him angry at first. Stop chasing. Stop begging. Stop looking for a woman. Build a life worth living without one. He thought I was crazy. He said, "But Caroline, I'm lonely." And I told him, "You're not lonely. You're empty. And until you fill your own life, no woman will ever want to be part of it." He didn't like that. But he listened, and over 6 months, he started filling his days differently. Morning workouts, cooking classes. He joined a men's hiking group. He rebuilt his life. And guess what? He stopped looking. He stopped chasing. And here's the kicker. Within 6 months, he had 3 women chasing him. He didn't need them. He chose not to date any of them. For the first time in decades, he was enjoying his independence. That's the power of shifting from need to choice. And I want you to ask yourself right now, are you living like a man of need or a man of choice? Because here's the thing, you don't lose your power at 60. You don't lose your options. What you lose is your frame if you cling to this belief that your worth depends on whether or not you have a woman. And that's exactly why men over 60 who understand this become unstoppable. Let me hammer this home even harder. Women are not drawn to men who beg. Women are drawn to men who stand tall on their own. Women are not drawn to men who need their validation. Women are drawn to men who already validate themselves. Women are not drawn to men who are looking to be completed. Women are drawn to men who are already complete, because those men bring abundance, not desperation. Now here's where most men over 60 screw it up. You've lived through decades of life. You've built families, careers, businesses. You've survived challenges. You've got scars. You've got wisdom. You've got resources. You've got stories. You're not a kid anymore. You're not some clueless 20-year-old chasing attention. And yet too many of you shrink back into boyhood when it comes to women. You act like a teenager waiting for approval. And that energy kills you. That energy makes you invisible. That energy drains you of the very power you've earned over 6 decades. I'll tell you another story. Frank, 67. He's single, hasn't remarried. And people used to whisper, "Oh, poor Frank. He must be lonely." Wrong. Frank is thriving. He wakes up at 5 a.m., meditates, does yoga, and then heads to the golf course. He takes cooking classes just because he enjoys it, travels to Portugal solo, builds furniture in his garage. His life is full, rich, and magnetic. And when he does go out, women notice. Why? Because he's not looking for them to complete him. He's already complete. And that energy is irresistible. He dates women 20 years younger, not because he's chasing them, but because they're chasing him. That's the difference between need and choice. Now let's talk about marriage. Some of you watching this are married and happy. Good. This still applies to you. Because nothing kills attraction in a marriage faster than neediness. If you've been clinging to your wife, begging for validation, smothering her with desperation, guess what? That's why the spark is gone. She didn't fall in love with a man who begged. She fell in love with a man who stood tall, a man who had his own goals, a man who was solid, a man who brought his own fire to the table. If you've lost that, you've lost her attraction. The way back isn't to beg harder. The way back is to reclaim your independence, to rebuild your strength, to become the man she was drawn to in the first place. And for those of you who are single, stop swallowing the lie that being single at 60 means you've failed. That's nonsense. Some of the happiest men I know are single by choice. They're not bitter. They're not lonely. They're thriving. They've learned that happiness comes from within. And here's the irony. Because they're not desperate, they attract incredible women. Why? Because they don't need them. They choose them. That's the ultimate power. So here's the wake-up call. If you're over 60, you don't need a woman to complete you. You need to complete yourself. That means building your independence. That means filling your days with strength, purpose, and growth. That means traveling solo, taking that class, starting that project, expanding your circle, living fully without waiting for someone else to give you permission. Because when you do that, women stop being the missing piece. They start being the bonus. Now let's get even more real. Mindset is one piece, but your body, that's the other piece. And I'll give it to you straight. Most men your age need help. Blood flow drops, stamina fades, testosterone crashes. That's not weakness, that's biology. You want to perform like a man, you've got to fuel your body like one. And I'm not talking about cheap gimmicks or blue pills that mask the problem. I'm talking about real natural support that fires up your masculinity from the inside out. Start simple. Watermelon extract. It's loaded with L-citrulline, which boosts nitric oxide and pushes blood where it needs to go. Firmer, stronger, more reliable erections. That's your baseline. But if you're serious, if you want to dominate, not just survive, you need a full stack. Horny goat weed for stamina and hardness. Tongkat Ali to crank testosterone and vitality. Fenugreek for libido and drive. Nettle root to balance hormones and support your prostate. Citrulline for circulation and vascular performance. That's the difference between fading quietly and stepping into your 60s, 70s, even 80s with power. That's the edge men overlook. So let me close this the way I started. You don't need a woman after 60. You don't need a woman at any age. What you need is to become complete on your own. To stand tall. To stop waiting. To stop begging. To build a life so full, so magnetic, so alive, that when women show up, they're not filling your emptiness. They're adding to your abundance. That's power. That's independence. That's the truth no one told you. And that's the truth I'm giving you now.